Welcome back to Is It Real? The channel that delves into the realms of mythology, horror, and all things strange and scary. Today, we're plunging into the depths of ancient terror with the Saga of Varnae, the first of the vampires. In the antediluvian epoch, when the island continent of Atlantis gleamed like a jewel upon the waves, a sorcerer named Varnae delved into forbidden depths. A member of the shadowy cult of the Darkholders, he sought power beyond mortal comprehension. The Darkhold, a tome of eldritch knowledge and unholy power, whispered promises of immortality and dominion. Varnae's fellow cultists, driven by their own dark ambitions, saw in him a weapon to wield against their nemesis, King Kul. They invoked the power of the Darkhold, twisting Varnae's very essence, transforming him into something monstrous, something eternal, the Earth's first vampire. But Varnae, imbued with newfound power, refused to be a pawn in their schemes. He turned against his creators, his fury a tempest of dark magic and primal rage. The other Darkholders, caught off guard by his defiance, were consumed by his power, their life force draining into him, fueling his ascent to become the undisputed Lord of the Vampires. For millennia, Varnae reigned supreme, his thirst for blood and power insatiable. He watched empires rise and fall, civilizations crumble into dust. He witnessed the Great Cataclysm, the cataclysmic event that plunged Atlantis beneath the waves. As the world he knew was swallowed by the sea, Varnae entered a state of suspended animation, his immortal life force preserved within his icy tomb. He awoke in the Hyborian Age, a world of barbarism and untamed savagery. There, he crossed paths with Conan the Barbarian, the Cimmerian warrior whose legend would echo through the ages. Alongside his allies, the fiery Red Sonja and the powerful Zula, Conan faced the ancient vampire lord. Their battle raged across the desolate landscape, steel clashing against supernatural might. Zula, wielding her potent magic, forced Varnae to retreat, his plans for domination temporarily thwarted. Varnae's thirst for power led him to ancient Cimmeria, where he collaborated with the sorceress Aimshed to create a spell of unimaginable potency. This incantation promised to amplify a vampire's power beyond mortal comprehension, but Aimshed, wary of Varnae's ambition, twisted the spell, binding it to a vampire's homeland. Varna, his Atlantean origins lost beneath the waves, was denied the spell's full potential. Centuries passed, and Varnae's hunger for the spell's power grew. He attempted to mystically raise Atlantis from its watery grave, hoping to reclaim his homeland and unleash his full potential. But Aimshed, ever vigilant, foiled his plans, forcing him to wait another 2 millennia for the spell's activation. During the Viking Age, Varnae's insatiable curiosity led him to the shores of North America. There, he encountered a colony of Vikings, their longships landing on the shores of a new world. He clashed with Thor, the Norse god of thunder, their battle a clash of titans, shaking the very foundations of the land. But even immortality could not quell the weariness that gnawed at Varnae's soul. The endless centuries, the countless battles, the insatiable thirst, it all weighed heavily upon him. He yearned for an end, a successor, to inherit his mantle as Lord of the Vampires. In the 15th century, he set in motion a plan that would shape the destiny of another. He manipulated a war between the Turkish Lord Turak and Vlad Tepes, the mortal prince of Transylvania, who would one day become the infamous Dracula. During a fierce battle, Dracula was mortally wounded by the immortal Apocalypse. But Varnae, watching from the shadows, saw potential in the dying prince. He sent his servant Leanda to transform Dracula into a vampire, granting him a dark gift and a cursed destiny. Varnae, ever capricious and cruel, rewarded Leanda with death for her service. He bestowed a taste of his own blood upon another minion, Nimrod, naming him the new Lord of the Vampires. But this was merely a test, a cruel game to gauge the strength of his true chosen successor, Dracula. As Varnae observed from afar, Dracula, fueled by his newfound power and a thirst for vengeance, slew Nimrod and his lover Lala. But victory was short-lived. A mortal priest, wielding holy power, struck down Dracula and the assembled vampires. Varnae, intrigued by Dracula's resilience, refused to let his chosen heir perish. He orchestrated Dracula's resurrection, using the blood of a deflowered virgin to revive the fallen vampire. Dracula, reborn and more powerful than before, confronted Varnae, but the ancient vampire lord effortlessly overpowered him. Varnae forced Dracula to drink his blood, saturating him with his own essence. He then entombed Dracula in a coffin, leaving him to slumber through the coming day. As dawn broke, Varnae, weary of his immortal existence, walked into the sunlight, his ancient form dissolving into dust. But Varnae's story did not end there. In the modern era, the voodoo priestess Marie Laveau, seeking a vampire's blood to maintain her agelessness, invoked the power of the Darkhold to resurrect the Lord of the Vampires. But instead of Dracula, it was Varnae who emerged from the shadows. He clashed with Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, and his allies, leaving a trail of chaos and destruction in his wake. He battled the Night Stalkers, manipulating Bloodstorm, a clone of Dracula, and turning their ally Taj-Nital into a vampire. Varnae's actions once again drew the attention of ancient forces. Khonshu, Bast, and the other gods of the Ennead and the Orisha, angered by his past transgressions, sought to put an end to his reign of terror. He clashed with Koku, the Ever-Burning, their battle shaking the very foundations of reality. Varnae, consumed by his insatiable hunger for power, sought to become the unliving dark force, a being of unimaginable power. He captured Thor, the Norse god of thunder, and attempted to seize the living Darkhold, the source of his vampiric curse. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Blade, the Daywalker, confronted Varnae, their battle a clash of ancient enemies. Dracula, reborn through a confluence of events, reclaimed his title as Lord of the Vampires, challenging Varnae's dominion. The Saga of Varnae, the first vampire, is a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the endless struggle between light and darkness. His legacy is etched in blood and shadow, a reminder of the terrifying power that lurks beneath the surface of reality.